The word get is a verb. The dictionary defines it as receiving or having possession, use, or enjoyment of, coming to a specified place, arriving, reaching, and lastly, to succeed, to become enabled, or to be permitted. So with all that said, did you get it? Good. Welcome to Get the Podcast.
You better get it while the getting's good. It won't be long until I'm gone in all likelihood. Misinformed is an excuse, be the engine that could. I know my roots, I know my rights, and still misunderstood. I'm getting to it.
Hey, what's up, people? It's your friendly neighborhood Negro, JC. And Get the Pod is a micro pod where I give my 2 cents, a couple quarters, and a few dollars on some hot button issues in not only the Black community, but the overall global community. All of the episodes will be under 20 minutes with the goal of, hopefully, getting you to the point of fruitful and meaningful conversations with those in your immediate friend groups and circles. So, you got it now?
Yep.
You get it yet?
Think so.
Good. Let's go.
I think part of the thing that I struggle with, being both a Black creative and a Black intellect, is my own intelligence. So, for instance, when you are smart, people can see that, mainly your parents or your grandparents. These are people that have grown up and through times that we can't really imagine. We read about them, we even see them, but I can't physically fathom what it's like to maybe have my quote-unquote inferiority relate to me on a daily basis and put it in front of me and used in such a way that it literally impedes my progression, you know? And so when I think about this, when you're smart, your parents as Black people, especially my family's from the South. So, you see this as both a negative and a positive. It's a beautiful thing to have a smart child, but you realize that if that smart Black child is indeed an intellect, then he is going to challenge the status quo. And as a Black person growing up in the South, you have learned that when you challenge the status quo, i.e. white supremacy in America, you might not live. And I vividly remember, like, my grandmother and my mom and my aunt always telling me, like, you know what, you're too smart for your own good. And I think about that now, like, what was that really saying? Like, you're too smart for your own good. Like, you're literally too intelligent for your benefit. And I think about how that affects me on an interpersonal level, because part of this journey that I'm on and creating the OBT and branching out and you know, creating something bigger than myself essentially is I've had to get out of my own way. And in getting out of your own way, it requires a lot of introspection and a lot of reflection and a lot of time to just actually self-analyze and really try to see your faults and understand them and better them. Because most people want to better themselves. Most people, I feel like, aren't satisfied with the status quo, especially growing up in this America with the American condition. Like, it's not one of those things that you are satisfied with. Told again as Black kids that, you know, you have to do twice as much to get half as much, which is true. And so I think about going back to that. It's like, you're too smart for your own good. I'm literally thinking about what they're saying to me, like, and they're not saying this to degrade me. They're literally saying you are literally too intelligent to function in these white people world
and not remain unscathed. You're going to cause attention to yourself because you're taking up space. You're taking space away from the white people. And historically speaking, when things are taken away from the white people, they act out. They shoot up movie theaters. They mob, lynch, and hang black people. Like, you understand, that take up space away from that, or that dare to actually defiantly exist in front of them. Excuse me, I was about to say irregardless. It's not a word. Regardless of, the laws or the lore that they have put into place, is that you are a nigger and you need to stay in your place. You need to not anger me because of your position in society is lower than mine, no matter your physical, mental, or emotional capabilities. You will never supersede my standing. And to be a black intellect and to be a black creative and a black intellect, to say that, to do these things, you realize that, or my parents, caretakers, realize that this is literally, you are standing in front with a middle finger to the establishment. And again, it's not an intentional, they're not trying to hurt me, they're actually trying to protect me. Insofar as, trying to teach me to shrink myself and take up less space. And so even now, I struggle with my own intelligence. It's the dual consciousness that W.E.B. Du Bois talked about. It's that thing, I am smart, I am intelligent, I've never been stupid. I do kind of live in both worlds. I talk different, quote unquote. I talk different. Like, why you talk white? Why you do it's just little things. Like, I struggle with my own intelligence. And so in creating this thing and being the centerpiece, is kind of like forcing me to do some psychological thing, some deep psychological evaluation, because it's like, hey, your whole life, you've been taught you can stand in the front, but not too far in the front. Stand on the second row and direct from the shadows. And I'm comfortable in that. And honestly, it is the shadows is where I like to be, because high-functioning introvert here. I don't like people like that for prolonged periods of time. But at the same time, I'm creating this thing that, at least in its inception, in the nascent form, is going to require me to actually be in the front. And that means actually showcasing myself and my intelligence. And that means actually being, quote unquote, smart for my good, which is something that I have been taught and told is not a positive. It's a negative. And so once again, I'm left here to, actually sit, ruminate, think about, and all of these things in this big maelstrom of just whatever, man, just this big creative force that I'm in producing, and that, like I said, it's just interesting to have to reckon with that, because parents are human, right? And they do the best with what they can, and they teach the best of what they know, right? So most times, so no one who said you're too smart for your own good is trying to hurt you, or to hurt me in this case, since we're talking about me. We're not talking about a hypothetical person, we're talking about me. No one is trying to hurt me or hinder or stop my growth. They were simply trying to protect me. But in that protection, in that providing of a soft shell case, you stunt the growth of an individual by literally putting a goalpost and saying, okay, you can grow as much as you want, but don't go past here. Don't grow past this amount, because the world might not be able to accommodate you. And I just think, now, me, 30. Am I 31? I think I'm 30. I don't know how old I am. I gotta do some math on that. I'm either 30 or 31. But now, 30 to 31-year-old me is finally fully reckoning with all of the things that I have internalized over the years in the creation of this thing. It is literally my child. I can kind of sort of understand when people say you have children and you change, because I am. I'm literally changing before my very eyes. It's kind of startling sometimes, but a lot of times it's exciting to see this me that I don't necessarily realize. But the me that I don't know is familiar because it's the person that I've always imagined myself to be in my head. And to grow into that image and that visage is kind of like, oh shit, like who are you right now? I don't know who you are, but keep going. Because you're too smart for your own good. No, fuck that. I'm smart for my good. Period. Get the Podcast is a production from the OVT Network with original artwork by Kenzo Sturdivant and original music by Sincerely Blip. The podcast is hosted and edited by me, your friendly neighborhood Negro, JC. If you found value in anything I've said here today, please subscribe, like, share, and comment on YouTube or Instagram at the OVT Network. You can also connect with me, JC, on IG at JC from the OVT. Gotta keep it simple, right? Don't forget to rate us 5 stars and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever your podcasts are casted. And lastly, did you know that if you share this podcast with just one person, we would double in size the community? So, with that being said, get to sharing, goddammit. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you listening. Peace.